Jeff Jackson joins us. So you joined, because I think Connor told me originally like Bobby or they had agreed to. So how did that transition go from them having him to you becoming Connor's full-time agent?
Well, they had recruited him, and they had an Ontario agent at the time who had left the company. And sort of part of what I saw when they approached me was like, I'll have the opportunity to represent Connor. And I said, like, if I'm doing this, I want to be involved in Connor McDavid, because I had tried to recruit him on my own, on my little agency. I talked to Brian McDavid a couple of times, and they were like, yeah, well, that's what we're getting you for. Like, and Connor was 15 at the time. And the agent business is, pretty savage sometimes. There's lots of people lurking around all the time. So sort of my job was to work closely with Connor and Aaron and some of the other guys and keep them as our clients. And thank God that we were able to do that.
And so, you know what? There are some sharks, if you want to use that term, maybe at times, that are looking around and trying to steal clients and whisper in their ear and different things like that. But then there's also like Connor McDavid's a very unique case, right? Because there's just like generational player. To me, there's very few of them. And that's what he was. And, people talked about him at a young age. And, it was always amazing to me kind of how mature he was throughout everything. He had to mature earlier than he probably should have, just based on the situation. As you evolve in that agent player becomes like a friendship a little bit, right? Like, you have to look out for him a little bit. And I know the player works for you, but how did you
actually, we work for them.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I meant. Yeah. And how did you massage that to know that, okay, like I have to look out for Connor, but at the same time, I have other clients and it's like having kids. You don't want to look like you're favoring one.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't find it difficult to manage time. I think going back, like having law school, working at a law firm where I had multiple files going on, working for the Leafs and doing all kinds of things at once, to be able to sort of manage a group of young men and with their families. I didn't find it too hard to balance it. I gave Connor lots of attention, but I gave all the guys lots of attention. And some of them needed more constantly, and some of them were low maintenance, if you want to call it that. And they would only, when they needed you, they wanted you there to help, or their parents did. So it was sort of like fluid that way. Connor was not a high maintenance client. He's very driven. Brian and Kelly they're very close with Connor. We developed a very good, close relationship too. So there was lots of trust, and it just built over time.
There must be at times, as you get to know the player and you get to know the person, maybe even more importantly, that you're watching some games, as a young kid coming up in junior, and he's doing great things. And he gets to the NHL, the best league in the world. And there's at times where, he's embarrassing is probably too harsh of a word, where like he's the best player on the ice and it's really not even close. And you're just like, but then when he's done hockey, he's just Connor McDavid, right? Like, did you ever find yourself sometimes being like, yeah, okay, like I can't be in awe of my own client?
Well, I was in awe of a lot. I think just like everybody else. I mean, some of the things he what he continues to do, even last year, watching games, I would be sitting on the couch, late night games for me in Ontario. So it's late at night. And I remember one night he scored the goal. I guess that was maybe 2 years ago against the Rangers, where he did the loop out. I jumped off the couch and yelled, because it's things like that bring longtime hockey people out of their seat. And that's why longtime hockey people all say the same thing. It's like, we've never seen anything like it, really. Right. But he puts so much work into it. He's so dedicated. And he, as because you see him, you've seen him for 8 years. He's a special kid. He's very humble, and he also cares about his teammates and all that stuff. That's why he's such a good leader.